Hi, and welcome to Can I Be Honest with Megan Coleman. Today, I sat down with Liz Parry, and we talked about her life as a mom, a stepmom, and a firefighter's wife. She told me about what it's like to be a work-from-home mom who has to do it all while her husband is gone for days, weeks, or sometimes even months at a time for work. She's a genuine, level-headed, intelligent woman who gives everything she has to her two girls. We talk about the pros and cons of social media and relate on so many levels. I'm excited for you guys to listen in and hear her fresh perspective on motherhood. First of all, thank you for coming back.
Of course.
We are going to dive right in, and I would like for you to introduce yourself a little bit and tell me what motherhood looks like for you, how you became a mom, and all that.
Yeah, so I kind of jumped into motherhood faster than most people. I met Colby when I was 21. We were working together, and he had Abby, who was almost 2.5 at the time. So he was a little bit older. There's 8 years between us. So he was 29. He had just turned 29. I had just turned 22, actually. And we met at work, and the rest is kind of history. I jumped into motherhood. I met Abby in June of that year that we met, and we celebrated her 3rd birthday together in September, and we moved in together in 2014, and then we were married in 2015, and then we had Lila in 2017. So there's always been, for the past 7 years, a little one in our relationship, and diving into motherhood that young was interesting. It was really fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm glad that I'm older now, and we have kind of been able to grow our family.
Yeah.
And I've been able to grow a little bit. So.
When we had talked before, you mentioned that you had a stepsister.
Yes.
So does this mean that your parents are no longer together? Like, what was your childhood upbringing like for you?
Yeah, my parents actually were together my whole childhood. They had separated, I think it's been like 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, okay.
So my whole childhood growing up, it was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. We had a really traditional upbringing. My mom was like always with us. We weren't didn't have babysitters and stuff. I just always remember my mom being around or being at my grandma's house. My dad worked and came home at night, and we did dinner and activities, and my dad or mom was a soccer coach depending on the season. So we had a really traditional upbringing, and then like I said, just 4 or 5 years ago my parents did divorce, and my mom is now remarried, and I do have 4 step siblings. So as an adult it was a little bit weird. I mean, I imagine it's super hard as a child to go through that. And I think as an adult, it's like kind of the same emotions, but it's a little bit different when you're grown up and your parents are separating. But everything was for the best, and we all have a really great relationship still, so I'm super grateful for that.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I guess I was just envisioning, as a kid, so you were, able to put yourself in Abby's shoes, but and in a way you kind of are, but a little different, as an adult, very different.
But I do think of that sometimes, and I'm able to relate to her. I'm like, I have step, parents, or I mean, technically, I'm a 28-year-old woman, but I have a stepdad, I'm able to kind of relate in that sense, whereas they're not as involved as I am in Abby's life, obviously, because I'm an adult, but I definitely feel like I have that little connection with her now. I'm like, my parents are divorced, I have 2 houses on holidays and stuff like that, so.
Cool. So you were 22 when you met Colby, who was then, you said, 29?
He was 29.
And with a 2-year-old, and you start dating this person and ultimately end up marrying this person. So how did you, along the way, in such a vulnerable time in your life where you're still figuring out who the heck you are and what you want, how did you continue to do that while stepping into such a major role?
I think naturally, all I ever wanted was to be a mom and get married, and I always felt like I had kind of an old soul, and that I was always wanted kind of different things than what maybe other people my age wanted. So when I met Colby, it was all fun and games, of course. I was 22 and he was, newly single and wanted to kind of live life and stuff. So we did have that aspect. And I was really able to still enjoy stuff, and then also have the mom side of it when we did have Abby. So I think naturally it was like an easy choice for me. It wasn't a deal breaker or anything,
Yeah.
but there have definitely been some rough patches. There's been times where I'm like, you know, I was 23, 24, and I'm like, okay, I'm like a year or two in now, and there's so much more involved than just Colby and I.
Right.
So there were a lot of times where I questioned if I was making the right choice, and there were a lot of times if I felt like I was even qualified, if that makes sense, and if I even had like what it was going to take to do this and make this life together. But luckily, Colby is like the most understanding, relaxed, like I'm the one that's like could be 1,000 different speeds in like the matter of 5 minutes, and Colby's just very like, we'll figure it out, it's okay. So having him there, while I did kind of go through those ups and downs of like knowing if I could do this and kind of having him be like that steady person, I was able to, I felt like still experience the things that I wanted. Like I had girlfriends that would go to Vegas or like whatever, and I still got to do all of those things, and Colby and I still got to experience a lot together. So I think I was able to kind of, one, grow up a lot faster than most people because I did have like this responsibility now. But I wouldn't change it for anything. Like I said, I look back now and I'm like, I'm so glad that I made the decision that I made. And yeah, I mean, the rest is kind of history for sure.
No, that's awesome. So like ultimately having that rock solid partner is kind of what kept you around, which is nice.
Sometimes I question where I'd be now. Like, would I be like almost 30 years old? I'm 28 right now. I'm like, would I be almost 30, like not with anybody, like any spouse, like where, you know what I mean? It's just like you think about it and I'm like, I feel like I know in my heart I made the right decision for sure.
So how early on in your relationship with Colby did you kind of know like this is the one, I'm gonna marry him? Because like you said, I could see how that could be like you have more invested in this, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's not just if you're not happy I'm just gonna leave sort of situation, you know. It's like there's now a child involved, and anyway, at what point did you know like this is the one and I'm in it to win it?
I would say pretty early on. Like I just like felt 100% comfortable with Colby. I absolutely loved watching him be a dad. Like there were so many days where him and Abby would just be like off in the front yard or like doing whatever they were doing at the park, and like I would just sit back and I'm like, I love this. So I think I knew pretty early on. I don't know how early on he knew. He's like very just like go with the flow. So like I think I definitely had to be like the more serious person that's like, okay, like where's this going? Like we have a child involved, like stuff like that. And I think he was nervous to jump back into a relationship, but I would say after about 9 months to a year, like we were both really committed to each other, and we were both like, okay, this is gonna work, like we're gonna do this. He had started Fire Academy, he was like working towards a different career, so I think pretty early on we knew, definitely. And once I told myself, I was like, I'm in this, I'm just gonna give it my best and really like do what I can for our new family, you know. And giving up wasn't really an option. I mean, if something like wild happened, of course, but it took a lot of work, and I'm really, really proud of the place that we're at now.
That's awesome. So that was my next question, was like, when did, because your husband is a firefighter, and when in your relationship did that become a thing? When did he go through all of that, and was that hard? Because I know that they're away a lot in the beginning, and I mean, now he is away, and now you have 2 kids, so you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So in our the beginning of our relationship, we had both worked at a car dealership together. I was a receptionist and he was a sales guy, and he didn't really have like any course that he was going to take. And my dad knew some people and was like, hey, would you be interested in like getting into the fire field? So he hopped right into EMT school and then Fire Academy, and then was just doing like internships and trying to gain his hours at firehouses. And he ended up working for a fire equipment company, but now he's back firefighting full time, and it's a really big challenge. I think having your spouse, and like in a way I feel like it's not even worth it for me to like feel this way, because there's people that have husbands like in the military or you know, like whatever, but it's definitely hard having him gone for like 3 or 4 days. Or last summer, I mean, California was on fire and he was gone. I remember we spent 4th of July, we drove to Davis where they were sleeping for the day, like in between fire breaks. They have 24-hour breaks, and he was like, we just got to go and we like had pizza and just like hung out, and we like couldn't go in his hotel room because it's like, you know, ran by the state or paid for by the state and stuff. So there's been a lot of ups and downs with it. I know Abby's really proud to say, like, my dad's a firefighter, and he absolutely loves it. I think it fits his personality really well. And I think what's hardest at home is the girls asking, especially now that Lila can talk. She'll like walk up to pictures, or like, we always used to wait, like when he would come home each day from his other job, like she used to wait on the couch and like look back at it, like wait for him to drive up. So I think that's been really challenging. For our marriage, we've had to really learn how to communicate and make the most of our time. We do a lot of FaceTimes, like we do when he's able. I mean, we talk a lot, we text a lot, we just like try and keep that communication going. And there's ups and downs for sure. It's like I pretty much single mom it for the 6 months of the year that it's fire season. So but yes, if he's just on regular shift for half the week,
which is just crazy to me.
And he's 5 hours away, so it's not like I just get to call and say like, I need you to come home. So, but before, he had worked at a station just in Wilton, California, and that was just 24-hour shifts. So he was only gone for one night, but this Cal Fire, with him gone so much, has been, or on his second season right now. So I don't know what the future holds, but it's what we're doing right now.
So those days that he's gone, like, how do you hold shit down and not go crazy? Or do you go crazy?
I go crazy. There's a lot of days where I either have his mom pick up the girls or my mom will come help. I think the hardest part is like once, like my day doesn't ever really end. I like wake up and the girls are up, especially on summer break right now. Like Abby's not going to school or anything. So my days never end. And I think that's what's hardest is there's days where I am just like, for no reason, I'm in a funk. Like, you know, like I miss my husband. I'm like life stuff going on, different things. And I think bottling that and like stuffing it without that becoming a habit of like bottling and stuffing stuff, I think is really, it's like a fine line that I walk, because really I have to hold it together for the girls. And we do a lot of cleaning when he's home. So like we'll try and get stuff done that we need to. And then my house is a mess. Like there's dishes everywhere. We don't eat at the kitchen table. There's like ketchup on the rug. Like it's just,
which I think is so important to like, so here's my thing. Like the whole reason behind what this project is to me is like the big parts, but also the little parts, like what you just said. Because for me, like scrolling Instagram, you compare yourself to like the big things. Like she seems so adventurous with her kids, I need to be more of that. She seems so patient with her kids, I need to be more of that. But then it's also the little things where you're like, there's no way anybody else's house looks like mine. Like I'm such a failure for not washing the dishes last night. This is disgusting. Who lives like this? Like
there's like the stench when you walk by. I'm like, no, I need to do it.
I have all the time, and it's like it's because I think that nobody else lives that way. And then so like to hear someone else be like, oh yeah, like my house is a disaster. I'm like, oh my god. Like me too, and maybe I'm not gross because you're not gross. And so so anyways, I think it's important to share even those little things that don't even seem important. But
I agree. I mean, there's more times than not. I would probably say 70% of the time I wash loads of laundry 2 or 3 times because they've sat in the washer. Like,
or don't put them away and they're clean but they're just over there.
All of that stuff. So I've just had to really like learn how to let go of it. And like I'm like, this is me, guys. Like if you come over to my house, it's probably gonna be a mess. Like that's just really how it is.
Especially you don't have anyone else.
Do it all.
It's just you and the 2 kids, and that's a lot. It's a lot to take on. So you said that you'll reach out to like your mom or Colby's mom. So do you feel like you have a lot of help? How great are you at asking for help? And what's that look like for you?
Yeah, we do have a lot of help. I think people can probably relate to this. It's really hard to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like, hey, I need like an hour to just like get stuff done. Can you like come, even just go in the backyard with the girls or whatever it is,
Right.
take them to get an ice cream cone or something. I'm super bad at asking for help. I have had to get better at it. For me, sometimes asking for help makes me feel like I can't do everything, and I like to think that I can do everything because I just like want to be able to do everything, you know, like we don't ever want to admit that we're like not capable of doing everything on our plate. So it's been humbling adding Lila to the family and Colby being gone so much, because I have had to ask for a lot of help, and there have been days where I just text Colby and I'm like, I'm gonna lose my cool, and he'll be like, okay, like my mom's on her way or something. So yes, we have
It's really nice.
a lot of help. Yeah, we do have a lot of help. My mom just lives right down the street. She comes and sees the girls like every single day, so I at least get a shower or like can just do the dishes uninterrupted.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah, it really is. And it even just like that hour of breathing feels so good. So it has saved me so many times. And then afterwards you just feel better, and people like helping you. Like I'm sure people look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, like Megan's doing all of this stuff and she has little boys. Like I want to be there for her. Like I care about her and the boys. And I always have to remind myself that that's how our family looks at me. They're like, we want to spend time with the girls. We want to help you, you know, like Colby's doing what he has to do for the family, and we're like all here. So definitely takes a village.
To have that. Yeah, to have that support.
Yep.
So what parts of motherhood do you feel like you kind of struggle in, and then in turn what parts are you like, I'm killing it, like I'm really good at that, and can you admit to yourself like what those are?
I think I struggle with being able to like just let go and kind of let everything fall to pieces. And what I mean by that is like I'm very like routine. Like you shower before bed, like you don't go to bed dirty. So like it's hard for me if we're like out late that I'm like, wait, like everybody still has to shower and stuff. So I think I struggle to just like let kids be kids. I know there was tons of times where I went to sleep like probably still in my swimsuit with like mud on my feet, you know what I mean, type thing. So I think I really struggle to just kind of like let go of the routine sometimes. And I think parts where I'm really like I feel really good about motherhood, I think I'm really good at showing my girls how much I love them and teaching them stuff. Like even little things, I see Abby, like she'll come out and look at my outfit, and then like she'll go in her room and she'll come out with like if I'm wearing a kimono or something, like she'll like kind of mirror it and like won't say anything, but I'm like makes my heart feel good because I'm like, you like look up to me and you like, you know, enjoy the things I've like taught you, like getting dressed or shopping or hair or cooking or baking, like whatever we're doing. It just feels good. So I think I'm good at kind of like making them feel loved and like confident and like kind of figuring themselves out, which I can't do a ton with Lila right now, obviously, but I know that she definitely feels loved, and we'll get there with her too.
So as a stay-at-home mom, you also work. You sell shampoo and hair products, but it's more than that. And you kind of want to expand on that a little bit, like what you do, what you chose to do, and how it's like helped you in your lifestyle.
Sure. So I'm a brand rep for a hair care company. It's social selling, like multi-level marketing, which I think is like it's just like on the rise right now. Like it's 2019. People are making money from their phones like every day. Like blogging is a profession nowadays, like fashion Instagrams, all that stuff. So I just needed a way to bring in an income for my girls, and I used to work at a mortgage company like doing marketing and stuff, so I've always kind of enjoyed like the advertising and like the aesthetics part of like selling stuff. And this company just, I mean, I have an amazing team. Like I've only been doing it for 6 months, but we have like grown so much, and it's just provided me the opportunity to stay home with the girls and still like if we need it, like California's not on fire right now, so we don't have tons of overtime. It's definitely helped us be able to enjoy a couple more vacations, shopping trips, just kind of do what we need to do. So I'm super grateful for it. Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. And how do you prioritize your day? How do you get that stuff done while still being present with your kids? And the laundry list of a million other things that you do all day long.
So the short answer is I don't. There are plenty of times where I like lay down for the night and I'm like, I was probably on my phone too much, or I probably like let the girls sit in front of the TV a little too long. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I have like survival tools that I use, like whether it's the TV or the iPad. Luckily Lila's still a really good napper, so when she naps, it's like Abby's quiet time. I'm like, you get to take the iPad, you can watch a movie. And I try to bust out as much stuff as I can. Luckily, I do a lot of stuff, like I said, from my phone, so I'm not like on a computer much. But I just try and get done like the things that I know I need to get done, that if I don't get done, things will fall to pieces. And then things like the laundry and dishes, that if they don't get done, everything's still gonna be okay. Those come last. They just do.
Yeah, so do you feel like you're getting better at that? Or are you still working on it? Because like, just be honest, because I completely lose my mind over that stuff. Like really lose my mind irrationally, where I'm just like, you know, I can't handle like all of the stuff everywhere, or the things that I didn't get done, and I'm not very good at giving myself grace and being like, well, but you did this today, you know? And so, do you struggle with that as well, or are you just like a cool cucumber?
No, I'm definitely like, I think my anxiety like manifests, which I think we wanted to expand on a little bit later, but manifests in like almost like an OCD way, where I like need everything clean all of a sudden, and I have to like I call it a rage cleaning. Like Kobe's like, hey, you're rage cleaning right now. I'm like, yeah, I am, because I like, if everything else feels so chaotic, like I'm like, I haven't done the dishes, I haven't done the laundry, like I have to answer these 5 emails, like I have to check in with my team, the girls are starving, like we need a grocery shop, like Abby has to be to gymnastics in 45 minutes, all of those things. I'm like, if I can just make my environment clean, and it's probably like a technique that doesn't even work, because I don't even know if I feel better afterwards, but I'm like, this is what I can control right now, is like, I can clean off the table, I can vacuum and like make the carpet look nice, I can make my bed real quick. Like, so no, I don't do everything on my list, and no, I'm not cool about it. I completely freak out sometimes, like more often than not. And I just have to be in my freak out.
1000%. So you spoke on anxiety a little bit. Is this something that you feel like you suffer from and have since before having kids, or is this new to you? And do you have triggers? Do you recognize those triggers, and how do you deal?
Yeah. So I think I've always been like a semi-anxious person. Like I'm really aware of like everything that's going on, and like different things affect me differently, and I can feel myself getting anxious. But I would say after having Lila, I am probably more anxious than I've ever been. In that sense, I definitely went through the baby blues with her, and I can feel my triggers, which are things being messy and like things feeling like they're out of control. Like I like having a very like, what in my mind I feel like I have a really good grip on things, where people could be looking at me like, chick, you have like you don't have a grip on anything. So I can feel like, we were driving home today even, and I was thinking about how like I had to put Lila down for a nap, and I have to pack for my trip tomorrow, and the girls were hungry, and I knew the house was messy from last night, and all these different things. And so I find myself like getting like kind of mean and stuff, and like just really short. So I actually like did this in the car today. I'm like, okay, you're just like, this anxiety and stuff is coming on because you feel like things are out of control right now, like they'll be okay, you know. So yeah, I think that's how I kind of talk myself through it. And it's different every time. Like sometimes I won't even like be able to zen myself, and I just like.
And how does that come out?
Honestly, a lot of times it comes out in rage and like anger, and then it comes out in like extreme sadness. Like once I'm past like the ragey part where I'm like rage cleaning and stuff, like, and then I think about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like so sad right now. If that is like relatable, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's kind of how it manifests itself, and I just have to like, it's something that I just have to get past, and you can't tell me to calm down, you can't tell me to chill. Do not tell me to chill.
Especially when I'm doing the dishes, they're nice.
I know, right?
And
I will kill you.
I'm known to throw things, so just watch out.
I'm the same way. So I would say definitely manifests itself in rage, and I just have to like ride it out, or just like there's times where Colby's like, just get in the car, just like go to Target or something, or like go in the room, like I got the girls. So when he's not home, I just have to like, I'm like, hey guys, go watch a movie, like, and I just like go in the bathroom and woosah for a little bit or whatever it is. So
and we have even connected on social media a couple of times about being like, yep, I cry just as much as the kids do. Like, do you still find yourself doing that some days, or are you kind of past that stage? It comes in waves, I know that. So
sometimes I probably cry more than the kids. But honestly, like, I have to make sure that I'm in a good headspace, which is still like I'm working on, like waking up a little bit earlier, like trying to like take care of myself before, because I find, like, Colby always says that people say like happy wife, happy life, but he's always like happy mom, happy house. Like, we got like mom's mood is pretty much like what everybody feeds off of.
The town,
and that's heavy to carry, because I'm like, dude, I have bad days, like I have bad hours, I have bad weeks. So I mean, there's still definitely times where I'm like, there's no way I can do this. And I cry.
So normal. But in the moment, you feel like a crazy person, or at least I do.
I'm not. I'm like, people knew that this was going on. Like,
or like what I'm crying over.
They would be a little worried about me. But.
So you work on social media. So you are on Instagram a lot, specifically. Do you find yourself going down rabbit holes? Have you kind of gotten a handle on that? Like, what are some things on Instagram that you find, because it does get a bad rap, and because people, you know, are prone to compare and then feel bad about themselves in turn, which is completely human, and it's going to happen no matter how much you tell yourself not to. So how have you integrated like that being a release but also work?
I still don't think I have like a 100% balance on it. There's definitely days where, you know, I see like the mom with the clean kitchen, and she has like the white couch with the light pink pillows and the tan throw blanket and stuff, and I'm like, I like have almost a black couch and we can't even keep it clean. So I think that when I have to get on social media and I'm not in a good headspace, I have to make sure that I'm just getting on there to do what I'm doing, like whether it's posting, following up with people, like getting my stuff done, and not scrolling. And if there's ever times where I'm scrolling and I start like that, you know, like comparison starts to creep in, sometimes I totally feed it and I get in a really bad headspace, and it's like a rabbit hole and I like can't get down it. And then I start to feel really bad about myself, and then I like click on to view my profile, and I'm like, oh,
you
this
stalk,
is like
do you
so
stalk
nerdy.
Yourself?
I
stalk myself all the time.
I'm like, this looks nothing like what everybody else is doing. And then I think I'm really good at just snapping myself out of it, and just being like, this is so like nerdy, this is social media type thing, like nobody's life actually really looks like that. So I just try to remind myself that I have so many good like girlfriends and like people like you that are just like, I don't have my stuff together. And I think just like telling myself nobody has their stuff together. And then on the flip side of that, like I'm like, I hope people don't ever look at my profile and are like, oh my gosh, she has like, all her stuff together. I'm like I mean, I don't want to post the ugly, messy stuff, but sometimes like in a caption I'll share it or like whatever, and I just like don't ever want people to look at me and like think that I have my stuff together, because like the farthest from having my stuff together. That
is like what sent me over the edge to be like, okay, I'm creating this space where people, because nobody wants to post ugly things on Instagram. It is an aesthetically pleasing place, so of course you're gonna post the pretty, and I know a lot of people complain about that, and it's like, well, of course that's what people are gonna post, you know what I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. What happens though is what we're just talking about, which is human nature, and so I really wanted to create a space where, you know, people could come and feel comfortable to share like, hey, this is my reality, if you're willing to talk about it, because I know not everybody wants to talk about their personal life on social media, which is cool too, but for some reason I feel compelled, because I recently went to like a family gathering, and I saw like cousins and aunts and stuff that I hadn't seen in a little while, and I can't tell you, so one specifically was just like, you have everything. like, you have such a perfect life, and, like, I love following you on social media, and your boys are so cute, and you're married, and your little house, and you're working, and you're just killing it. And, like, my stomach hurt when she said that to me, because it's like, yes, I love my life, do not get me wrong, and I do think my kids are perfect.
Yeah.
But trust me, like, if you switched lives with me for just a day, like, it's not everything
so
that
much
you
more to
think.
it.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than you think, and there's more mess than it looks like. And I think it's really easy for people to say that there's a mess, and then people are like, yeah, but your mess doesn't look like mine would. And so it's just nice to, you know, kind of have those conversations where you feel heard, seen, and, like, related to.
Yeah.
So.
And I think moms, like, we're all good at different things, right? So, like, whereas I might be really good at, like, I don't know, I can't even think of something I'm really good at right now, like, getting pictures of the girls, or, like, whatever it is. Like, there's moms that, like, don't even have filters, don't even know what presets are, that, you know, are posting pictures that people aren't looking at, but, you know, they have a huge game room at their house, and their kids are doing all the sensory activities, and, like, those are the things that they're good at. So I think that, like, looking at somebody's Instagram, like, there is literally no way, and I know this personally from people that I know, that I look at their Instagram and then they come and sit on my couch and drink wine with me and we talk, and it's so different. Do not trust what you see on social media. Nobody's marriage is perfect. Nobody is the perfect mom. Nobody doesn't yell at their kids. It's just, it doesn't happen. And you can be happy and show up on social media in a really great way and still struggle with so many things. Like,
and that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's totally okay.
Yeah, it's still genuine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I think there's, like, this new phenomenon happening right now where everyone is like, I want more real. I want to be more real. And I think, like, I don't think you're not being real by sharing happy things, even if you're having a shit day. Like, I've done it plenty of times where I'm not having a good day, but I'll post a really cute picture of my kids talking about how much I love them, and it's still genuine. You know what I mean? It's still coming from a great place, so I think we also have to remind ourselves of that too. But with that being said, is there any other place that you gain inspiration, or, you know, who... do you follow accounts that you love, or, you know? You get what I'm saying.
I honestly don't follow a ton of... I follow mom accounts, but I don't know if I, like, really gain too much from them. Like, to the core, like, I might think, like, cute outfits or cute stuff or cute ideas. I love Pinterest. Abby's, like, favorite thing to do is pull up, like, 5-minute hacks on YouTube, and then we, like, try and do them. Like, I think I just gain a lot of inspiration from the girls, and, like, what they want to do, and how they like to get creative and stuff. And like, Pinterest, I love Pinterest still. It's, like, still a thing in my life. And then, of course, I mean, there are so many moms on Instagram that I do, like, feel like I can connect with. And I find that on Instagram, like, stories are where your people are a little bit more real. So yes, like, your feed might look this way, but, like, I just feel better opening up in stories, and there are so many moms that I connect with. Like, my girlfriend yesterday posted her 6-month-old fell out of the wagon, and, like, they ended up in the ER, and, like, it's a totally honest mistake. It happened with Lila at 8 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she crawled right out of her stroller, fell on the cement, like, and it just, like, happens. But those are the moments that so many people hide, and then when it happens to you, like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst mom ever. My kid fell on the concrete. You know what I mean? So I was grateful that she shared that in stories, because I didn't share it when it happened to me. So I think stories, I actually get a lot of inspiration, and, like, almost feel more brave sharing my stories when I see other people that are like, this is what I'm going through, or that, you know, this is what I'm doing. So it might expire in 24 hours, but pretty much always on Instagram, so I'll catch it.
I mean, same. So do you have anything that you would have told yourself pre-kids that could prepare you a little bit better? Screaming is not
this little voice is super cute. I don't know, honestly, what I would have told myself. I guess just that I'll figure it out. I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time worrying. And that's, like, I think that's also kind of a thing right now, is, like, be, like, grateful for where you are. Like, there was so many days where I was, like, you know, 18, 19, like, had just graduated high school, and I'm like, I want a family. And you know, now that I like have that family and we own a home and my husband's a firefighter, like all those things on paper look really great. And like, I just have to remember to be grateful for them. Like, even though the day-to-day is really messy. So
Yeah.
I would tell myself to not be so worried about like what shows up on paper, like what your life looks on paper, and be just like really, really committed to like enjoying the everyday, the stuff, like almost the mundane stuff, like in the backyard and the girls are naked on the trampoline and I'm like sitting there, you know, with like a glass of wine or whatever it is. So yeah, just appreciate, as cliche as it is, the like the little things.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to say now, and I heard somebody say recently, like, you can't live with hindsight. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, until you experience it. So it's hard, but I was just wondering if there's anything that you're like, man, I wish I knew this before. You know, I wish I had this hindsight. And maybe somebody who is pregnant right now or wanting to have kids or in the same headspace that you were back then can kind of listen to you and take that with a grain of salt, because it's not easy.
I think how fast time flies. I'm sure you experience it with your boys. Like, Lila's almost 2. I feel like I just found out that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So if I could tell my pregnant self something, it would be like, stop worrying about all of the little things and just like enjoy your kids, because it doesn't last.
Yeah, totally. Do you guys want more kids?
Yeah.
Do you have a number, or are you just...
No, I think we want to. Colby's like, I know we got a boy in there. We're like kind of struggling in like the infertility department right now, so I don't know
what. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, or?
I honestly like don't really know. I'm in like the middle of testing and stuff, so they just diagnosed me with PCOS, which basically like manifests itself in like irregular periods and like different like off hormone levels, which obviously makes it hard to have a baby when you're not having a regular cycle. So I don't know. I still am like waiting for a lot of answers and stuff, but I don't know. I definitely do want more kids, and this was like a total like gut punch when I found out.
Yeah.
So if we have more, I will be super grateful. If we don't, I'm just lucky that we have the 2 that we have, because there's so many couples out there that don't ever get the chance to have babies. So I'm just trying to be really grateful for the family that we have right now and like this season of life, because it's going to be over super quick.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you so much for your insight and a little look behind the scenes into your life and letting us in. I really enjoyed this conversation, and so I'm excited to have you be a part of this.
Of course. I think that what you're doing, so many people are going to be able to relate and like just kind of take like a deep breath, like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
So
that's
the
point. So hopefully, thank you so much. We did it.
Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe.